3, 2, 1.
Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to a special holiday edition of Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Podcast. Hey, what's going on, Mother Podcasters?
Hey, no one told me we were wearing ugly Christmas sweaters. Or is that a T-shirt?
It's this. Mine's a T-shirt. I don't know. It's not.
Oh, it is ugly in Christmas, right?
It is ugly, and I wore my Bah Humbug in honor of this film.
A black
that John,
hat. A black
John
hat.
has brought a black Christmas hat.
Yeah.
I would have worn my Pastor Joshua Carlton outfit, but I
JC.
forgot.
JC. All right, so we're going to do John's pick for a holiday film. Shocker that it's an oldie. And then we'll do a round.
For him.
Then we'll do a round of what you watch. We don't have to spin because Drew has the next holiday film. Drew, do you want to talk about it now, or you want to wait?
We'll talk about it at the end.
At the end.
Talk
Okay.
about it at the end.
So
Let's have some build up to it, Ralph. Come on.
Sean, welcome back.
Welcome back, Sean.
Back, buddy.
Hey, Sean.
A return to normalcy. How could I miss watching at least one version of A Christmas Carol this holiday season?
How many versions do we have to watch?
For about 3 weeks, all Debbie watched were Christmas movies on like Hallmark. So this was better than them.
Did she watch Love Actually?
No, Hallmark movies.
Oh, okay.
They all have the same ice rink, which must be in Vancouver. There's always a scene at an ice rink.
Always.
And
funny.
it's always the same ice rink.
All right, so John, tell everybody what you brought.
Okay, so let me give a little context around this. I after watching Band of Brothers last week for Chris's Christmas show, I was going to go with Elf, which I think is a classic. I was going to go with Home Alone, but the truth is, I watch all the different versions of A Christmas Carol, and even though the story is the same,
everyone.
I find that every version brings something different to it.
Every version of what?
Of the story and the
Did you
performance.
tune out already? Jesus, Ralph.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Ralph is what Ralph is.
Did you watch it on the train?
So yeah, he did. As a matter of fact,
I did watch
He wasn't
half
gonna
on the
watch this
train.
TV.
I did. I did watch
So,
half on the train.
I went through the list of Christmas carols, and my favorite is the 1951 with Alastair Sim, as everybody
It's a
knows.
good one.
But my second favorite is actually the version that we watched, which is 1984's George C. Scott's version. It's directed by Clive Donner, who edited the 1951 version.
Wow, promotion.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know the story, you must live in a cave, but Ebenezer Scrooge is a man who doesn't celebrate Christmas. He's a miser.
He's a mean one.
He's visited by 3 ghosts. He turns it around, and now he enjoys Christmas. Okay, that's a little bit. But I want to talk about this version. This was a made-for-TV version. It has an unbelievable cast: George C. Scott, Edward Woodward, Roger Rees, David Warner, Susannah York, Joanne Whalley, who played Fan, and Lucy Gutteridge, who played Hillary in the Top Secret movie with Val Kilmer. She was the
Yes, she
female lead
did.
in that film.
I thought she
and-
was French. Is she French?
She was French in that
Acting.
movie.
She was
She was
French.
acting.
Acting.
So let
Well,
me
we're
tell
gonna talk
you
about that
why.
a lot.
What I remember most from that movie was The Anal Intruder.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And speaking of the
I
holiday
know a little
spirit,
German. He's standing over there.
that's our Christmas gift to you. Sean's back. So this version to me, and I know Ralph's going to disagree with this, but what I love about this version, the performance that Scott gives is very different than most versions of Scrooge that you see. He isn't the miser. He's not like he doesn't beat up little kids. But the way Scott described it was he's a businessman, a lonely businessman. That's how he described the character. That's how he played it. And within it, you believe the transition a little bit more from where he starts to where he finishes up, because it's not such a leap to go from where he starts from to where he ends up. Because even at his worst, he's got a sly sense of humor. When he's talking to the ghost, like especially Edward Woodward, he's sarcastic, and then he has some fun when they go to Freddy's house. So I just find his performance probably, out of all the Scrooges out there, I'd probably say it's the most most realistic portrayal, I guess, most naturalistic portrayal of a character that is usually played way over the top, so that the transformation at the end is much starker than you would get in this movie. And I think that's why I liked it. It's pretty dark. And I think that's the way Dickens wrote the original novel. It's a very dark film. In fact, Death, every time, Death doesn't speak, but you hear almost like a gate opening up. It's kind of a screech every time. So it's disturbing. And it's filmed, it was filmed in, not in London. I think it was, I can't remember the name of the city, but the tombstone is still there with his name on it. It was a blank tombstone that they carved and they left it there. But I don't know. We talk about Christmas films, and some of us have one idea of Christmas films. Some have others' ideas. The reason why I watch every version of A Christmas Carol, it's the last scene. It always gives, it always gives a little chill up my back, and it makes you feel good about Christmas. And so that's why I picked this. I watch almost, some of them are good, some of them are awful, but I try to watch as many of these as I can, and I always watch the week of Christmas. I watch the 1951 version. But anyway, that's why I picked this. I love this movie. I love his performance in it. He's so good in it, and that's it. Merry Christmas to you all.
Well, if I could jump in, I think my second favorite is the 36 one.
Oh, the MGM version?
Yeah. Come on. I think we had it on the show. It was in our...
Wait, what's your first favorite?
My first favorite's the 51, Alistair Sims one.
Okay.
And when we had our holiday showdown, unfortunately, I believe John had already picked that one, so I went with the 36. Now, this one, the big problem is the younger versions of Scrooge, because George C. Scott has such a distinct face and such a distinct nose and profile. You could just never believe that these younger versions of him turn into him, But, I love George C. Scott. I mean, he was at his peak in the 60s and the 70s. But, I think he does, this is what you watch these movies for, essentially, is the variation and, and the Scrooge, and you wonder, you see these actors, they get that certain age. It's like there's a version of this made every year, practically, it seems, either on cable or something. And you want to watch these actors. And I love George C. Scott. I know he was problematic as a person, apparently, but fantastic, the actor of his generation, in my opinion. And I think he did a great job. I think John hit it perfectly when he said that he didn't have to come quite as far. Like, even when he insulted the guys who were coming to get the money, the lines, now there are certain lines in this that are definitely Dickens because they're used in every version. But then there's a lot of other places where they make their variations. But even those lines, it's sort of like, I don't want to be drawn into it, but I'm going to go and I'm going to say these horrible things. But it's, there's a slyness to it. It's like, he's not as cruel as like Alistair Sim would be, or Mr. Magoo. Maybe that's my second favorite version. How many people have seen the Mr. Magoo version?
That's a great version. Great version.
It is actually, you would think it wasn't, but it is actually a very good version of A Christmas Carol. And I just think Scott brought the goods. And he did have his, his big turnaround moment. He got a little, I think my wife was watching it with me, got a little teary-eyed during it. But there are a few things I don't like of this version. I'll point them out. One, the Cratchits are pretty upper, they seem like practically upper middle class. They've got like China and this and that. They're not as impoverished and pathetic as they often are in other versions. And some of the transitions from like one goes to another are kind of goofy. They do like mirror and or lighting effects that I didn't think were, which screamed TV to me.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. And because it was a TV film, it didn't have, as good a lighting, I thought, as it was. But on the other hand, I thought the stuff with death was very good. That's another thing I look for in each version is like, how ominous, how scary is this death? And the soundtrack of it really reminded me of Full Metal Jacket. It sounded like when they're walking through it, that kind of like the death scene at the end. You know, there was some similar instrumentation that I remember from they're walking through Way City in the end. You know, it just reminded me of it. But death was really well handled in this film. And
Well, just as an aside, Full Metal Jacket, another excellent Christmas movie. Sorry, Sean, go ahead.
yeah, I think so too. You know,
Yeah.
you know, maybe that will be your pick. It's about time we watch it. So you already did one Kubrick film for holidays.
That's true.
Might be another one.
Spoiler, it won't be that one this year for me.
Oh, okay, sadly.
Sorry.
So, but you know, I enjoyed it. It was good to see like Susannah York and David Warner. You know, it had a pretty good cast. You know, so you know, I enjoyed it. It showed its TV roots. It was a little gimmicky on some of the transitions, but other than that, you know, you watch it for Scrooge, and George C. Scott
Super
was a great
claustrophobic.
Scrooge.
I mean, forget the 4x3 because it was 4x3. The movie was very claustrophobic.
I think it probably had to be because
It had to be
budgetary
because it's on television.
reasons.
I get it. Like the Cratchit,
Yeah.
Cratchit's house.
Cratchit,
I
yeah.
mean, they're all stuck in one little tiny.
It was
room, I
released
guess.
theatrically in
It
England.
was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to throw this out here. This is my favorite version of A Christmas Carol, mostly because, you know, when this came on, I remember I spent most of the 80s Christmases at my grandparents' house down in North Carolina, and they lived in the sticks. And even though they had these giant, I mean, like a 6-foot satellite dish outside their home, the only thing we ever really seemed to be allowed to watch was the Nashville Network, which was pretty bad. But this was a movie that came on every Christmas, not every single one, but I distinctly remember watching it at least 3 or 4 times, Christmas after Christmas, just because it was a Christmas Carol and it was okay for that to be on the TV at Christmas. But beyond that, one of the things I love about this film is this is the scary ghost story for Christmas, right? Like there's the song where they talk about scary ghost stories, right? And I remember at one point I was like, what scary ghost stories are there at Christmas? And my wife looked at me and she goes, A Christmas Carol. She's like, there's ghosts in it. But what I love about this one, and I've never read A Christmas Carol by Dickens, but even when Jacob Marley shows up and he has
He's
his
a scary
mouth
Marley.
tied up,
Yeah.
you know, his mouth is like tied shut and he has to undo it and then he puts it back at the end and he's got these chains. And even though in high def they look pretty light for giant chains, they're meant to be heavy and they look heavy. Plus,
Ponderous.
yes. And then there's just
Like
the
my
way
breasts.
this movie is shot. A lot of it is shot like a horror film. Like there was one great scene right before everything gets going. George C. Scott is walking down like a cobblestone street, and there's just like these tall gates of metal
Yeah, that was good.
spikes, and it's really he's just dead center. They backlight him. It's very creepy. I will say this, you know, you talk about things that didn't quite work, Sean, and the all white hearse didn't quite. It didn't come off quite as spectral or spooky as I think it should have. It was just kind of like, hey, here's a white, you know, some white horses and a white hearse, you know. But I really love this one. I think everything in it is really creepy. I also like the way that they pull back in. Once again, never read the book, so I'm not sure how they pull in this other emotional tie to Scrooge in his sister.
Yeah.
Right?
Fan.
Like, that is not, you know, it's not in a lot of the other versions of the Christmas Carol. His sister is taken out. It's the girl he almost marries. But then there's this other thing. And you get I mean, we always know Fred, his nephew, is there. But his sister isn't really mentioned in a lot of the other versions. And I like the
Yeah,
fact
she's
that-
essential to me.
yeah,
He is
I
in
like-
the 51 version. She is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so I like the fact that she is there and that she is a character, and it's another kind of reason he's mad at the world. It's why he's so bitter toward his nephew, you know, because he sees her in him, and obviously we don't find out exactly what happened between the two of them, if they had a falling out or if she just died and he was too busy working to.
Well, it was the relationship with his father
Well, yeah.
that's
yeah.
what really set him down a path. In the book, the father's mentioned, but you never see the father.
Mm-hmm.
And that was to show why he's so detached. I mean, he
Yeah.
was attached to her
Mhm.
until she died.
But yeah, I mean, I still think that even though this is a TV movie, I think it's got great production value.
Yeah.
It looks great. The snow looks real. I think just all across the board, this is a great version of it. The only one that comes close to this one for me is A Muppet Christmas Carol, and that's just because it's funny and it's got great songs.
That's a good. That's a great version too.
Yeah.
Christmas Carol. It's classic.
Great version.
But this one really, and I'm glad that you picked this one, John, because it does do a good job of putting me back in the spirit. It also reminded me of another George C. Scott movie that starts at Christmas, Hardcore.
Sure.
I was going to mention Hardcore because he had the same facial contortions that he had in that film in this one.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Anyway,
Wait a minute. Does Hardcore take place at Christmas?
it starts at Christmas.
Oh, just maybe Drew's choice.
Didn't you also feel like the locations looked like lived as
Yeah.
opposed to sets? Do you know what I mean? It really did have a real feel to it.
Yeah, it really looked great. Like I said, yeah, I thought the production value was great. And David Warner's terrific as and Tiny Tim. Who doesn't love Tiny?
He's really pathetic looking.
Yeah,
which
he's
is
got
key.
like the bad. I mean, he's obviously sickly.
Yeah.
God bless
And I will say this.
everyone.
What'd you say?
God bless us, everyone.
And
See,
I
that's
don't know
bad
why-
acting right there.
And it's always freaked me out. And one of the things I love about this version, when the Ghost of Christmas Present opens up his like cloak, and there are those two like little like wretches of children. They're
Yeah.
all spindly and everything. I remember as a kid, those two freaked me out. Like
Yeah.
I like
Like
the
the
fact that
kids
this
from
movie
The Shining.
is like like this movie is
Another
scary.
good Christmas movie.
It's creepy.
Yeah, and a lot of versions don't do that. They don't do that scene.
Yeah, because it's too weird.
Yeah.
It's
It is weird.
Anyway, so yeah, big fan. Thanks for choosing it. Gave me a reason to watch it.
I'm not going to talk about it, Drew.
Well, it's going to surprise everybody. I've never seen this before. I at first had thought it was a prequel to The Hospital. It turns out it's more of a version of A Christmas Carol. And I had never seen the 51 Christmas Carol until the episode that we did, and I really enjoyed that. And this was basically the same, and so it was pleasant. It did do some little things differently. I'm not going to pretend that I noticed everything that you guys have talked about that was different because I haven't watched either of them 100 times growing up or anything like that. But it was pleasant, and the ending is sweet. I mean, it's hard for me sometimes with this story because I feel like the story is somebody who is unpleasant and unkind becomes pleasant and kind because they got bullied into it. And why don't you just leave people alone? If they are dicks, you can just let them be dicks. But I understand that's not really the Christmas spirit. So my favorite version of Christmas Carol remains the Michael Gambon Doctor Who episode. But it is an interesting story that's been done many, many times. And I keep forgetting I want to look up and see if there's a version in Indian cinema. Of
I'm sure
Dickens.
there is. There's got to
I'm
be.
sure there is too. It's Dickens. So
The Dickens,
it was,
you say.
there were definitely parts where I think I fell asleep a little bit, but I had already seen the 51 version, so I knew that I didn't really have to go back very much. And I did enjoy the cast. David Warner always, to me, growing up, the first thing I ever saw him in was isn't he evil in Time
Yeah.
Bandits?
Yeah.
And he just really terrified me.
Yeah.
So, seeing him as a pleasant Bob Cratchit and seeing him in Titanic and seeing him in all the different things that he did,
He was
it's-
Jack the
it's
Ripper
good.
too, time after time.
Right, yeah,
After
he was
time,
very good.
yeah.
He was very good in that. So, is he also the bad guy in Tron, or is that somebody else?
Yes.
No, he was the.
That is him. He's
yeah.
the red armored. Yeah.
He also
was,
gets
he
his
was a
head
villain
lopped
of
off
my
in,
childhood movies, basically.
So when he got this script, he's like, "Wait a minute, I'm playing Cratchit."
No, he
Yeah,
was
right.
Not the
offered.
Ghost of Christmas.
He was
They
Carol.
wanted
offered
him for
Marley. He was offered Marley. He wanted Cratchit.
Yeah.
Well,
And
you
he
know
also
what?
got his head lopped
Marley
off.
was very good.
Yeah,
This
that was
is
a
probably
good.
one of my favorite Marleys, and he was scary looking in this one
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Anything else?
And then we could talk about our worst versions.
Well, I'm just going to say one thing about the film. except for the overacting, which is just incredible. Did you guys
Who
all
was
notice that
overacting?
all the carolers that were outside singing were dead on with what was going on with Scrooge at the time? Like
I
they
did
would
not notice
go back and watch the movie again and listen to what they're saying. They're like, "Here's the old man walking down the street." They're just like literally hitting every. It's like an Indian film. They're
I
telling
was
you
about to
what's
say,
going
yeah.
on in the film. Check that out again because it's
I will.
pretty interesting.
Or Black Dynamite's the same way.
Black Dynamite, yeah. I don't know. I didn't like. I love the. I talked to John about it earlier. The Guy Pearce version on FX.
Oh, that's the
3.
one I hate.
I know.
hate the guy.
I know. I have no love for these films at all.
Did you like the 51 version?
Maybe I don't know. I like Scrooged with Bill Murray. I thought that was.
I
a
loved the
nice
first half. I thought
adaptation
it
of
fell
that one.
apart.
You know, to me, I just can't get past. They just look like they're acting.
Oh,
Like I
my
can't
God.
separate. I know. Okay, because I'm not an actor.
Well,
But
I mean, even the 51 version is a little,
yeah.
but this one isn't like that. That's
Oh,
what
George
I
C.
love
Scott.
about this
He just
movie.
seems so natural. There was so naturalistic
is.
performance.
I
Such a-
think.
Wait
I
a minute,
think,
wait a minute. Do you like George C. Scott in general?
I loved him in Hardcore. Yes, I do. I do.
How about The Hospital?
Loved him in that one. Yeah,
Okay.
You thought he overacted in this?
slightly. Yeah, but again, I don't like the. I don't like. You knew I was going to hate this one.
No,
So why
I
even-
didn't know that. I
Oh.
didn't know you'd hate it.
I mean, I don't hate
Most
it. It's
people
like,
who have a heart.
I
Who
guess
have a
I don't.
soul?
I don't. I'll tell you in what you watch why I like this film, but other than that, I'm not gonna. I don't know. It was.
And
I
what you
don't-
watch, you're going to tell us why you liked it?
Yes.
You know, Sean, I'm going to say something about something you said, that the guy playing the younger Scrooge. Have you ever seen Scrooge with Albert Finney? The musical?
Yeah. Yeah.
He does an incredible performance playing the younger Scrooge and the much older Scrooge. I really liked that. That was well done. The movie's okay. It's got some great musical numbers in it, but he's very good in it in the two roles. And I think he was the only one that did that. I don't think anyone else played both the roles. Although Alistair Sim did an older version, not the younger version.
Don't you think?
Doesn't it?
Don't you think that would have been better if Albert Finney had done that movie, all the roles in his Poirot accent, though?
Yes.
I think
Absolutely.
that
played-
just
didn't
adds
Al- who
a
played-
Euro flavor to it?
Who played his father in this one? Was that Albert Finney?
Nigel.
Davenport.
Yeah, I think it was Nigel Davenport.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I think so.
Don't you think the big goose that he got him looked fake too? The big.
It was a turkey.
Oh,
that wasn't a
The
goose.
big whatever that the big.
It was
oh,
a
look at
turkey,
this with
Ralph.
the
You didn't,
turkey.
Ralph. Were you watching this on the train too?
No, I watched the second half at home.
I'm
First
sorry,
half
did
on
you
the
say
train.
the second half?
I watched half on the train and then
You
half
know
at
what?
home.
You know what? So
Actually, the conductor had to wake me up. He goes, "Hey, you
So-
got to pay your ticket." I was watching. It's just to me, they're all overacting. I couldn't stand it.
well, I don't know what to tell you.
Even Tiny
Although
Tim,
Tiny Tim looked like he was a real cripple, so I have to give him that. Wait,
he was differently
God bless
able.
us, everyone. He was good.
Yeah, Nigel Davenport.
All
It
right.
was
All right.
Nigel.
So does this go under the tree or Cole? What is this?
No, this definitely goes under the tree.
Totally under the tree. Totally.
Under the tree.
Yeah, Under the Tree is fine.
Okay. Whatever.
Ralph,
Okay.
Cole.
So it's Cole.
Okay.
I guess I don't like these. The
You're
Guy
a
Pearce.
mean
I can't.
one, Mr.
Sean, why don't
Grinch.
you like the Guy Pearce version?
Oh, because it's
The
made for
sexually
today's
harassing
audience. That's
dog.
why. It's made for today's
I
audience.
asked Sean.
Just, the wife,
Awful.
have sex with me. Come on. Really?
Oh, nice. Wasn't there a little sexual harassment going on too with the?
Yeah,
with
of
his,
course
with
there
his
was.
Teacher? Yeah.
There was. I mean, it's like, really? Isn't there enough drama?
I mean,
in
wasn't
this,
in Scrooge in all these? Isn't he staying at isn't he staying at the school during winter break?
Yeah, by himself.
Well, that's what they said. But
He's alone. That's the whole point of it. That's why he grows up the way he grows up.
all right, let's do a round of what you watch because I got to get off this one. I'm going to tell you what I watched because I watched it right after I watched this one,
Oh,
which
God.
was Christmas Vacation. That's all I'm going
Oh,
to say.
yeah,
That's it.
classic. Classic.
Totally loved it. I'm glad it purged all the stuff and loved it. That's a classic. That is a classic. Stone cold classic. Sean,
And
what'd you watch?
It's a sweet movie,
Well,
too.
I can tell you what I watched. I watched, I think, 1947, The Big Sleep with Humphrey Bogart. and
Oh,
Martin
great
McCall.
Choice.
And I love this film. It's based on the Marlowe novel, and it's the script was by William Faulkner. I mean, how much better can you get? It's funny and it's very complicated, even if you watched it as many times as I do. So many people, the plot is so complicated, so many people end up dead. You really got to pay attention to remember who killed anyone else. But I think my granddaughter saw another film with her boyfriend over the weekend. What film was it? If you remember, it was, lean down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm tall.
Yeah, you remember it was The Strangers last time. What did you see this time?
Watched some Netflix show. I don't remember what it was called. I just remembered it was Netflix. That's all I remember.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Was it horror?
No.
Could be anything.
Yeah, it was some cartoon. I can't remember the name at the moment. And I came down here to get my
Fritz the
brother.
Cat?
No, it was not.
It was on
Fritz.
Netflix,
Yeah, it was on Netflix.
and it's a cartoon.
Yeah, it was like.
Was it a feature or a show?
I don't know. Like I think it was like a movie or something.
So you really weren't paying attention to what was on.
Sean, did you plan this? Did you plan this?
No, I was coming down here to get my brother Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so he wouldn't.
Oh, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And we want to thank our sponsor, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, guys. Yummy,
So
yummy,
wait a
yummy.
minute, what were you doing that you can't remember the movie?
Oh, we were on his phone the whole time, literally just like texting my friend Kara and just going on YouTube Shorts because Kara also hates her boyfriend's out.
What do you mean also hates her boyfriend?
Oh, I don't hate him, but all my friends do, so very funny.
Have you seen A Christmas Carol?
No.
Do you want to? Sean, how come?
I offered her the chance to see it.
I was kind of busy at the moment, so.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
I
okay,
guess this is a
good.
regular feature now, so we'll see you next week.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I try to bring her in, particularly on the times where she's out with her.
Yeah, maybe you should talk to her
Boyfriend.
first to find out exactly what she watched.
I like to be spontaneous.
A little
what can I
I'll say.
A little prep, that's all.
But I just want to say that Bogart
If people
film.
on this show are telling you to do a little prep, Sean, come on, you better do a little prep.
Hey, and then I just want to mention, Debbie and I had also watched another Bogart film, In a Lonely Place, which was directed by the guy who did like Rebel
yes, so
Without a
good.
Card, starring Gloria Graham too, who was freaky, and it's a film that will never play now because he's like a violent guy. He's accused of murdering a woman, but like he beats up people all the time and hits women. It's like, and you're supposed to feel sorry because he was falsely accused, and his relationship. He would have married this girl, Gloria Graham, had the police discovered who the real murderer was, like just an hour or two earlier. And you're sitting there thinking, no, this is the best thing. She should never marry this guy. So
Was she Violet in It's a Wonderful Life?
yes.
That's her. Okay.
So you know what the scandal with her was, right?
No.
So she was married to, what's it, Nicholas Ray, or Rick Rowe, the guy who directed Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah.
And she's 30 or something, and he had like this 14-year-old son, and he came home to find those two in bed. So the father divorced
Was
her.
she reading a book to him or something?
No, I don't think it played like that.
Oh.
Yeah,
it
Christmas Carol.
must have been one of those Henry Miller books if it was, at the time. And then later, when he got old enough, they got married.
Oh, God.
So
Okay,
my
thanks, Sean.
the
That was,
kid was the rebel.
That's
but I
kinda
think he had
gross.
a cause. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what you said there. You're watching this movie, and it's like she's kind of like innocent.
She's It's in a Wonderful Life, isn't she? The girlfriend or the?
Yeah, she's the girl that
The hussy
goes
of the town?
Yeah,
bad.
if you want to rewind the show a little bit.
Yeah, we just covered.
Obviously, you weren't paying attention.
Obviously, Ralph, you weren't doing enough research.
You want to go back in the conversation a little bit, Ralph?
Everyone.
Sean, I mean, can we go back to the wholesome stuff that you like to bring up? Like, didn't Spencer Tracy hang out at gas stations or something?
This is just keeping with the holiday spirit.
Okay. John,
Well,
what'd
there
you
are
watch?
probably people watching this movie.
Sean, are you
this
done?
episode. I'm just saying, I feel sorry for all the people watching this episode.
Nobody's watching. Don't worry about it.
Okay,
If we
yeah,
get 5
fine.
likes, that'll be lucky.
We're fine.
Yeah,
Go
exactly.
ahead.
I watched the first 3 episodes of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, it's really picked up since Kurt Russell came on. It reminds me a little bit of Scooby Doo, the first episode, but it's good, and the CGI is pretty good. They're not. There was one scene with Godzilla with an H bomb or something, and it was really cool. But I like it, and Kurt Russell's kid plays Kurt Russell as a younger guy.
Yep.
I like
And
that.
it's-
Good actor.
The
Good
time
actor.
frame is strange because they're jumping back and forth to different time frames. It does get a little bit confusing, but I was gonna wait till they all drop, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna watch this, and I'm glad I did. I really like it.
What is that on again? I saw it.
Apple.
It's on Apple Plus. They drop an episode every Friday, but it's good. And I'm going to go see Godzilla -1 on Saturday, so I'm kind of getting prepped for that. So that's what I watched.
Okay. Chris.
Yeah, actually, strangely enough, I didn't watch very much this week.
We know.
No
however-
Indian films.
No,
No, that's for sure.
definitely. I just it was really busy. I did watch a little bit, and I can't wait to finish it. John, I'm glad you brought up Moonlighting. So I've watched the first half of the pilot, which I had never seen, because I watched it nationally when it was on TV, so it had already gotten. I think I started watching it in the second season. But anyway, so I'm kind of excited to watch that. It is funny how you can tell the obvious reshoots because Bruce Willis has 2 completely different length hairs.
Yeah.
Like his hair
toupees.
grows and gets puffy from scene to
Yeah.
scene. So that's kind of funny. But I also watched a little bit, the first couple of episodes of Scott Pilgrim Takes Off on Netflix.
How is that?
Fantastic.
Is it the
Basically-
actors from the movie doing the voices?
Basically, every single actor from obviously Michael Cera and but everyone, Chris Evans, you name it, Alison Brie, Brandon Routh, everyone came back, and some of them have just a few lines, but it takes a very different turn. It's kind of a reimagining, you might say, and it takes a very different turn. And I've watched maybe the first 3 so far. And I'm really enjoying it. It takes a very different kind of look at the whole thing.
Where's it playing?
It is on Netflix.
Okay.
Is
So
that a
that's-
cartoon?
that
Oh,
is
that
a
could be
cartoon.
what. I wonder
Maybe
if
that's
what
what she was watching.
Yeah.
Could be. Could be.
Yeah.
But those are 2. Those are basic. Oh, and one other thing, real quick. And it's
Thank you,
every
Drew.
25th anniversary, Farscape.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I love that
I
show.
saw-
I never watched that
rewatching-
show.
Oh, it's
Never
so
watched
good,
it.
especially if you like Muppets. It's so good.
If you like practical effects, it is really good, and it is weird.
Super
Man,
weird.
you watched a lot. For someone who
Well,
didn't
the
have time to
difference-
For
watch
someone
it.
who started saying
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
probably
watch
could have fit
much.
in a 3-hour movie.
I think
bet.
maybe you could have
Yeah.
dropped one in there, but
He didn't want the Hindi dub, and
I watched
respect that.
82 episodes of this one show.
Well, when I say Farscape, then like I said, I've seen that a couple of times, so it's something you
But
can watch.
back to Moonlighting, like Bruce
Oh, yeah.
Willis was shot out of a cannon, right?
Oh yeah,
I mean, you could see this guy's going to be a star.
oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Just like I said, I've watched maybe the first half an hour.
I saw
Yeah.
that when he was in The Verdict. Actually, I could see that when he was in The Verdict. All right,
His 2 shots.
Drew, do what you watch, and then I cannot wait for you to unwrap the film you're going to bring next week.
So I also started watching Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. I didn't have high hopes for it, but I really it's almost a secret that the MonsterVerse franchise is working.
Yeah.
I like all of the movies that they've made, except for the second one. What is it? King of All Monsters, which is not a good movie with some great stuff in it. And this TV show, I hope it's not like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something like that, where you go, yep, there's out that window, there's the movie kind of thing. It's not like that at all. They do a really nice job, like John said. The scene, it's basically the Bikini Atoll hydrogen bomb test. Godzilla is there. And it's interesting because coming out of the ocean, the water coming off of him doesn't look as good as it would in a movie. But Godzilla looks as good as he did in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, if anybody's going to spend money, it's going to be one of these streamers, and Apple's doing that. Excuse me. And so I look forward to seeing a lot more of that. I will say the very first scene is John Goodman's character setting up basically the whole story. He played a character that you see as a younger version of the rest of the show. He was in Kong Skull Island. And I read an interview with him where he said that the producers of the show called him and said, "Can you come back and do the same character for the opening of this new series that we're going to do?" And that was, I think, Kong Skull Island was like 2017 or something. And he said, "I'm a lot healthier now. I don't know if I'm what you're looking for." And they said, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. So the problem is that that's the first scene of the series. And there's a couple of monsters, and those effects look good. The green screen is so bad. I was really like, I hope the show does not look like this.
You mean on that
really,
scene?
On that scene,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
looked terrible.
Yeah.
Everything else does not look like that. Everything else looks great.
No.
It's fun. It's a bunch of young actors that I've never seen before, and it's just fun.
But
like,
Drew,
if
you know, the young actors are not very good especially when Kurt Russell's on the scene.
Yeah, he's amazing.
The difference between him and them, I mean, it's so stark.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I really like his son too. I think his son is a fine actor, and they do a really nice job with it. That's really I'm looking forward. I think there's 10 episodes, and they've put out 3 so far. I also really normally would rather wait, but I wanted to see it, and I am going to see, as John said earlier, I'm going to see Godzilla -1 this weekend, which should be a lot of fun. So Monarch Legacy of Monsters is what I watched and what I will continue to be watching.
Has anyone seen Napoleon yet?
Not yet.
That's one Debbie and I want to see. We got to find a babysitter now.
That's my plan for Friday.
Yeah. Hey, I got to say,
You're going to babysit for Sean on Friday? That is super nice of you, man.
I saw some of the worst green screen. I couldn't believe how bad it was. It was on, William Shatner has an HBO series about Mysteries of the Unexplained, but this was on a cable one.
So silly.
And they go to a close-up of his head with the background, and you could see, it's like the worst green screen ever. I'm sitting there
Worse
thinking,
than this?
yeah, it's about that level, actually. I know you're going to fix that in post.
No, this is it.
No, but I'm sitting there thinking, this is a professional product.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let that get past me. I did a spot for a doctor, and I'm like, I labored over it until it looked bad. They just put this shit up. This stuff up there. Sorry, excuse me. I've been off air a while.
No, we just lost money on this podcast. Thanks a lot. Jesus.
Damn it.
All right. Before Drew unveils his pick, because I'm on pins and needles. I would like to show my advent calendar that I got. Kind of based on our podcast. This is the
Nakatomi Plaza.
Nakatomi
Nice.
Hans Gruber falling out of the building advent calendar. So
that was at a Yankee swap last year. Isn't that great?
I sure hope that's not a hostage.
This is nice.
That's Hans Gruber, right?
I can't wait to start pulling. Yeah, it's Hans. He's up there, and all you do is, as the days go on.
We get an advent calendar up. We know how it works.
Well, he falls. He's falling.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's awesome.
I wanted to
No,
show
thank you.
You're welcome.
You get that for yourself, or did someone get that for you?
I got that for myself. Here comes the drum roll, Drew. We cannot wait. What is your
You
pick
guys have built this up. I have not built this up.
Totally.
I was thinking, not everyone on the show enjoyed my choice of movie last year. I still will stand by it as a genuine Christmas movie, although not from the expected catalog, Eyes Wide Shut. And I wanted to find something. Again, I didn't grow up with, let's say, the Christmas spirit. So my definition of movies for Christmas is broader. But I also, if you tell me Die Hard's not really a Christmas movie, it's a movie set at Christmas, I'm fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that distinction. And I thought there's a lot of good choices of movies, even stuff that John might like. Shane Black did his Christmas trilogy, which I think is really good. It's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, and The Nice Guys. I think of Long Kiss Goodnight as a prequel to that. And then I was going to pick a French movie. It's called Inside, or L'Intérieur. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Nope.
It's Christmas Eve. There's a young woman. She's pregnant. She's almost due. Her husband has just died in a car accident. So she's very alone, and people check in, and then they leave her alone. And she's not really sure what she's going to do with her evening. And then Beatrice Dahl plays a woman who comes in and wants to cut out her baby and steal it. And it is one of the bloodiest movies of all of the new French horror movies.
Wait.
And I said, John, we're not doing that.
Us, everyone.
Yeah, great. So
So
I decided
Drew, you are really building this one up. Man.
I decided to go with a movie that also has Carol in the title. It's called Carol. It's by Todd Haynes. It's from 2015. It's Christmas in New York, and Rooney Mara's shop girl falls in, I guess, love at first with Kate Blanchett's married housewife in the 50s. It is a great Christmas movie. It's a beautiful movie. It's got one of my favorite
Wait, it's a movie that
endings of all time.
Okay, but it takes place at Christmas, or it's a Christmas
It takes place at Christmas, and it is a Christmas story. And it's
Why
New
couldn't we
York
just
in
watch
the
Shop
50s.
Girl? No, sorry, just kidding.
Well, because Shop Girl's not great, and Carol is. I run very hot and cold with Todd Haynes' films, and this is my favorite one of his. Although his new one with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore looks very good. May
The
December.
Barbie one was great.
Yeah, that's definitely
Can't find
a
that.
movie he
That's
made.
a tough one to find.
So
is that
Carol
on
is
Netflix? The
available
one with
on
Natalie
Netflix.
Natalie Portman. May December is coming out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming out in the theaters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So so Carol is on Netflix.
John, you're gonna
and
love this one.
It is.
I can say there's no male frontal nudity in it.
It's
No.
1 hour and 58 minutes. So even Chris should be able to find the time to fit it in.
Squeeze that one in.
And I haven't watched it in some time. I own it on Blu-ray. It's really, I mean, it is a gorgeous.
It's a beautiful
gorgeous movie.
film.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie.
We just watched it not too long ago.
Can you send me?
Okay.
Can you send a copy or?
You want my Netflix?
It's
login?
on
They
Netflix.
are cracking down.
Oh, it's on Netflix. Oh,
Yeah,
never
it's on
mind
Netflix.
Ralph,
then. Okay.
is there some kind of delay?
What?
Is there some kind of delay in the audio?
Hello? What? I can't. What? I think.
So
it
It
Chris,
might
what
also
do you-
be.
what do you
it might
watch?
also be
I'm
on
Fred
Canopy,
Gillet.
but-
Oh, you're half in the bag. That's why.
I'm not. I'm fully in the bag. I'm not half in the bag.
Wait
I
a
am
minute, let me
fully
get
in the
Claudia
bag.
and see what she watched with her boyfriend. Sorry, no.
Sean, you need
Good
to,
one.
rehearse these or something.
She just showed
All right.
up.
All right.
That's
So
just
Carol,
one part
finally
of the show
oiled
that's
machine.
rehearsed.
I love that I love Carol's actually in the name. Carol, this is good. Like
There
a
you
Christmas Carol. Can't wait to see this one.
Yeah, Kyle
All right.
Chandler, great cast.
All right.
And then
Anybody
Sean
have-
will pick the next one.
Sean, do you want to pick the next one?
I'll find a Christmas movie for you.
Yeah, that's going to be the one.
Well,
close to
holiday.
Christmas.
Doesn't have to be. It could be holiday. It doesn't.
Yeah,
have
it
to
can be a holiday. It can be
It could be the Ice Storm.
July 4th.
Ice
Easter,
Storm
whatever you
is a
want.
classic.
God.
Oh my
Ice Storm
God.
is a
That takes place at Christmas, right?
that's a depressing.
a
movie.
You
Thanksgiving
know what?
movie.
I hate to say it, but the week after that is the 12th, and that's when I'm having my throat operated on.
Well, you don't have to be on the show to give us the movie.
Ooh.
How about that? We'll talk
Okay.
about the movie that you pick.
Or you could write it on a little whiteboard and hold it up, and then we could talk to you like that. That'd
Yeah,
be great.
you could put emotions. Smiley, sad.
Hey, wait a minute. Can I use the chat function, and we can use that on the screen?
Or bring Debbie on, or your granddaughter if she wants to talk for you. So figure it out.
I definitely will, especially if she watches it with me, with her boyfriend.
But you'll
Okay.
rehearse
Oh,
it a little
that's
bit
a little
before
weird, but
you
okay.
get her on.
All right. So Sean, tell us the movie. Wait, we're gonna watch Drew's Carol,
Right.
and then are you gonna be on for this? Can you be on next week, Sean?
Yeah, I'll be on next week probably.
Okay. Okay. So then we'll do that, and then if you want to pick a film, you can pick a film for us to watch while
Okay.
you're under the knife.
Oh,
Okay.
nice, Ralph. Under the knife. That's great.
Well, that's what it's under.
Yeah,
the
that's a
knife.
universal sign for what exactly? Surgery?
This is-
No, I don't think so.
No.
A lot of mafia movies do that. Oh, hey, you got to get some surgery. You know what I'm saying?
A lot
This guy,
of surgeons.
he's
in
going to
those
go to the
mafia
doctor.
movies.
He's going to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? All right, everybody.
Wait, subscribe, guys.
I think this might have gone off the rails.
Hit the
a little.
notification button. Hit the like button. And last thing I want to say is,
It's because you picked that.
God bless
Christmas
us,
gift.
everyone.
Wait, here's my acting. God bless us, everyone.
What a
Scene.
great line reading.
Wow.
That was so not over the top.
I
God
feel like
bless us,
you're
everyone.
almost
Oh, my
just
God.
started walking.
Wait a minute. Can we send that to the Academy?
Oh
Listen,
my God!
that was my
And he
best
talks about
English-
George,
that's my
he's
best
got the
Cockney-
balls
Cockney.
to talk about George C. Scott with that horrible.
Listen,
line
I
reading.
love George C. Scott. I love his son Campbell Scott. It's not about that.
and I
It's
love
about,
Campbell soup.
It's
Whoa,
about
whoa,
that.
whoa. Campbell Scott is George C. Scott's son?
You didn't know that? Come on.
No.
Yeah.
You're joking now, right? You're just messing with
No, I didn't know that. He doesn't
Yeah.
have the nose.
me. No, that's his son.
Well, George C. Scott had his nose busted. That's why his nose looks like that.
All right.
All right. Enough of this.
This is enough. Enough. Everybody have a good week. Can't wait to watch Carol.
Wow.
What?
Have
Anything
you seen
else?
it?
Listen, Ebenezer.
No,
Have
I
you seen it,
actually
Ralph?
Visited
can't
by
wait
some-
to see Carol.
You know, they're going to
gotta get
redo
visited by
that
3
movie
ghost
every
fans.
year with a different woman playing the Kate Blanchett role. Next year it'll be Sharon Stone, and the year after that it'll be
Way to go, Clarence. Way to go.
Dolly Parton. You know, it'll be great.
That's
Is
right.
the show
Jane
still on?
Fonda, Lily
I think
Yeah,
Tomlin.
we're
still
still
on.
on. Yeah.
Oh,
This
okay.
is so.
This is magic right here. This is gold, Jerry. Gold.
This is what everybody waits for.
Literally.
This is when we have the least amount of viewers.
You know what?
Can't
I
believe
did
it.
like before we took the little break, and we were all kind of talking at the end of the Indian episode, and a number of people thought that was the best moment. They're like, but it seemed like a series finale.
Yeah, except there was one guy that said the editing is horrible. So, one guy how many millions are over there? And I took.
Well,
I
of
took
our
offense to
audience,
that.
that's one guy out of like maybe 22 people. So
22.
I don't think we have to pay attention to him at all.
Good point. All right, everybody, enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.